There's a lot of different gay people in the world, and with gay people comes gay music. So today, I'm going to categorize this music on the gay music compass. Each artist will fit somewhere between these two axes, gay to straight and trans to cis, with subcategories to be inclusive. I'm going to be covering a lot of artists from a lot of different genres, so I decided to match them with the kind of person I think would most typically listen to them. Sensitive young man. While not gay in the typical sense, them being in tune with things like beauty, compassion, and empathy makes them functionally gay. Similar interests to the male manipulator, emotional music, fine literature, and cinema, but not always predatory. Car seat headrest. Car seat headrest, he's a person I've definitely seen on this planet before. He's not super special. He comes across as the kind of guy you probably would have seen in an anime club in the 2010s. Very caught up with what would have been like the popular Tumblr culture at that time. Probably would have like listened to Waves or something like that, if you remember that band. His physical build is one of a person who was never like really forced to go outside of the house by his parents. You could definitely tell that. I mean, you could see that in his build because his build is that of someone who spends all their time behind the computer. That's even translated to what he's doing recently, what he's been doing for the past few years, which has been, all this fursuit stuff. But Will Toledo has probably the most punchable face I've ever seen. His personality does nothing to help that case. His fans are an interesting case because I had my girlfriend. I know a lot of you think, oh, like he doesn't get hoes, he doesn't have any emotion. You're wrong. I have a girlfriend who loves me very much. She told me only trans mask people listen to Car Seat Headrest. So I ended up posting on my story to see if this was true. I got quite a few different answers. I got hella replies from trans femmes. I got a few answers from some cis girls as well, but seeing that the trans outweighed the cis, we're going in a direction that makes me believe we could classify Car Seat Headrest as maybe sensitive young trans femme territory. The kind of trans femme who would be playing like an action strategy game like League of Legends. Maybe they're even playing Minecraft in the dark. They're kind of like sitting in their chair like Elle from Death Note. They might be talking to someone on VC on Discord. I'm going to say Car Seat Headrest, definitely in the sphere of trans. Definitely very emotionally gay. We'll put him halfway. We'll put him in the halfway point between the two axes. Alex G. I've actually had the pleasure of meeting Alex G. It's a really embarrassing story, so I'll tell it to you right now for your enjoyment. He was performing in Coney Island. I got to meet his brother. His brother takes a lot of pride in the fact that Alex G is his brother and that he would teach him like a lot of basics about music growing up, that he'd always be driving him to school. His brother, in the words of Alex G, like annoying. So I got to meet Alex G and I immediately started nerding out. It was like the worst thing as I look back on it. I was wearing a really cringy shirt. I'm not going to tell you what shirt it was because if I did, it would absolutely jeopardize like everything about the channel and my personality, my motion, my aura. My fit was atrocious. My haircut was awful. I immediately started spurting on him. I was like, how was it working with Frank Ocean? Oh, you like Aphex Twin, blah, blah, blah. Hey, yeah, my name's Jupiter. I bet you don't meet like a lot of people who are named Jupiter. But it all came from a good place, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself. I've met too many straight people for me to confidently say that Alex G is like super gay music or that his fans are super gay. It's definitely a little zesty. He's kind of like a mad Italian like this cup. In his mad Italian fashion, he gets very drunk at shows, which is almost reminiscent of like the kind of artsy frat boys I knew a little bit of in college. He's sitting you down around the campfire. You're expecting him to sing this really heartfelt song. And he starts singing about the girl he had like a situationship with. It was kind of messy because she was saying about how he was like low key into cuck. You don't need to bring this up at the function there. Like, this is just not like a good vibe. This is, you're like feeding into like her vision of you. I did that little orangutan thing with my fingers where he's like, yeah, bring that thing over. Let's say halfway through, more in the camp of cis. Alex G, that is your position. Radiohead. With any large fan base, the amount of gay LGBTQIA members, it gets watered down. Because of that, it will strip it from its potential in being as gay as it could be. However, there is a gay aura to Radiohead fans and Radiohead. Existential, bisexual vibes. I feel like Radiohead would fit firmly in the camp of like someone who reads David Foster Wallace, someone who has like this depressive like hum in the background of their life. Think about the kind of guy who would go on YouTube and make a long essay about OK Computer. You're not straight. I'd place them halfway between gay and cis, marking a kind of bisexuality. Elliott Smith. Sensitive young crash out. I've only ever listened to him when I thought about, Anybody can be a crash out. It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. If we're talking about what I think of when I think about Elliott Smith, I do jump to the Wes Anderson film that they used his music in, The Royal Tenenbaums. And with that comes an air of metrosexual melancholy, if you will. I associate that metrosexual period with a lot of like hipsterdom, because metrosexuality is more of like the image of gayness, but not necessarily gayness itself. Elliott Smith, I feel like you go here.
Of Montreal.
If you listen to Of Montreal, in my mind, no doubt about it, no question about it, you are a lesbian. Even if you're a guy, you're spiritually a lesbian. Not bisexual, but a lesbian. Even if you're a girl who listens to Of Montreal and you're with a guy, that guy probably wants you to do a lot of gay shit to him, actively making you a lesbian. I want to say higher than Radiohead, less cis than Alex G. I'm confident with that.
The Smiths.
Not Male Manipulator music. Here's why. We have had a distorted perspective on the Smiths in America. We enjoy it, but it's truly for the soul of an Englishman, of the Brits. The Smiths is hetero male bonding music. This is music for the pub veterans. They're having a pint and they're crying. Their working class job is so hard. We can't diminish the beauty of these straight working class heroes, because as we all know, you gay people are too lazy to get a job. Straight, cis, right near Elliott Smith for now.
The Cure.
Gay in a more of a failed male kind of way. This is the kind of fan that I've known to still be in marriage, yet continue to ask their girlfriend to call up Domino's when they want to order a pizza. With that anxiety comes some sort of like rampant racism that will come out after a few beers. That being said, no matter how like beta and racist you might be, what I mean by this is we're probably talking more about the older Cure fans. Let's put him behind Alex G, halfway between gay and straight. And we'll put him there for now.
Beach House.
I want to share with you a funny story about Beach House. I knew a girl. She was very convinced that the front woman of Beach House was a male to female trans woman. And they started showing me more photos of like the face of this woman and the kind of, broad shoulders. Beach House, not really particularly gay. Maybe in this little bunch over here between the Cure, Alex G, Elliott Smith, and the Smiths. This seems comfy. We're done with sensitive young men. We're done. As you should probably be in your life.
The Down Low Brother. According to Urban Dictionary, a man who secretly partakes in homosexual conduct but lives a heterosexual lifestyle. So, this category is for rap artists who are either thought to be gay, are gay, or have lots of gay fans.
Frank Ocean. Obviously gay. Gay people like Frank Ocean, but so does Barack Obama. Pushed up a little bit. So that's Frank Ocean.
Playboi Carti.
He's not gay. He's just from Atlanta. Right here. Yeah, that's good.
Beyonce.
I don't think anybody asked for Beyonce to be this prolific in the culture besides her gay fans. If you find someone who's like really a Beyonce fan, you've clearly found the most brain dead person in the room. This person, if you look at their wallpaper on their laptop, it's still the default wallpaper. If you ask them what their favorite show is going to be, it's probably like the newest release on like Amazon Prime or something like that. If this person owns an Apple Watch. If we're talking about the one good contribution she's made to society, it's the fact that Glee, the show Glee, which, of course I had to cover Glee for the Gay Compass. Are you kidding me? It's the fact that Kurt did that kind of cunty gay version of single ladies, in Glee, and for that I have respect. And you're so fake and gay that I'm putting you right in the middle of the chart. You appeal to everybody and nobody at the same time.
Megan Thee Stallion.
We're going to place you here. And Megan, I'm going to give you the subcategory of largely female fans, because we have to remember that when we're talking about Megan Thee Stallion, yes, a lot of gay fans, but also like a lot of female fans. I feel like this is a good spot for you on the compass.
Nicki Minaj.
Despite having such mainstream status, we're dealing with someone who has like a very heavy stan culture behind them. One that goes on to define like a lot of like internet memes and like a lot of internet culture. They've acted as like real gatekeepers of the kind of that Nicki is putting out. And honestly, anybody that values gatekeeping that much, that's smart. So Nicki, for now, we got to place her high on the gay hierarchy. Yeah, it's a little bit better.
Lil Uzi Vert.
The non-binary king of Philadelphia. So geeked that he just kind of forgot his gender. A lot of straight and cis fans. More so, actually, than I think Playboi Carti. Vert, we're going to put you down here. And that's that.
Azalea Banks.
She obviously plays into this dynamic that she and her fans have. The whole, you're gay, like you're a whatever. That lip filler you have is going to migrate and you're going to look ugly. Really capitalizes more off of that than the music at this point. I mean, she could go to a straight pride rally tomorrow and they'd be defending her choice. At this point, I'm expecting her to go into the Tucker Carlson podcast tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised. This is cis gay guys. So Azalea Banks will put you up here.
Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely.
A lot of people paint them as what I'd like to call humiliation ritual kind of gay. Think about the kind of person who goes to prison and gets turned out and they weren't gay before that, but because of their situation, they're just down for gay. Like, they're not gay. They're not really gay. I mean, they just do the gay sex because of their situation. And when it comes to, their situation in the industry, I mean, we can throw speculation around of, whether they've, as Cat Williams says, whether they've had to lose their butt virginity.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about.
The point of this is to get you on camera or get some sort of like collateral of you doing gay so that you can get more in the industry. Now, I'm not throwing conspiracies around. I'm just kind of, painting an image of how a lot of people see them. We'll tuck them in with Playboy Cardi, all in the same bed, the opium bed with opium sheets. Let's put them right here.
The party girls. This category is dedicated to all the crazy girls and gays working hard during the week just so they can party even harder when the weekend comes. I've usually seen them snorting ket off a coffee table while the DJ doing a set in their apartment is spinning some IDM vinyl. Bjork.
She really embodies like the whole spectrum of party girl, I think, because she has like this like emotional depth to what she does. What's funny about her music is that, and obviously it's been the awakening for so many people. I mean, they see what she's done and they're like, oh man, like I'm gay as They hear homogenic and decide they're homosexual. Not as gay as Nicki Minaj. I'm going to even venture to say a little bit more trans too. But you're right here. There we go.
Snow strippers.
They're metrosexuals who missed out on being metrosexual truly when crystal castles were a big thing. That being said, leaning more into straight territory than gay. We have some appeal to trans and cis here. This feels like a fair place to put it.
Too Hollis.
Too underground to be that gay, yet still gay enough for the kids at the Ken Carson concert to boom off during his set. More cis and straight than snow strippers.
Underscores.
Real easy one, and I'll show you why. Right over here, only to be topped by one other band.
100 Gex.
When you think about the whole like hyperpop, trans, like stereotype, doors that were opened for people to feel like they could also express themselves that way. I mean, 100 Gex is pretty much to blame. So 100 Gex, you are most definitely the king and the queen of the gay trans quadrant. So
Grimes.
I want to say her audience, while it's grown over time, still maintains a strong gay core, but it's not screaming at you gay. Because there's an ethereal energy behind Grimes, this ethereal fairy cyber goddess energy, it changes things. It gives me the vibes of someone who would like sell spells over Etsy, if that makes sense. Not as watered down of a gay fan base maybe as Frank Ocean. You're here.
Charlie XCX.
If you've fallen for this brat stuff, you've been MK Ultra. Not even like saying anything politically, but as soon as we started seeing like the whole like Kamala's brat thing, it's all like, without like even choosing a side, that is all you need to know to let you know that it's faking gay and lame and annoying. I'm not surprised that Anthony Fantano gave it such a high rating. We are clearly going to look back at all the brat stuff and be like, man, this is so cringe. Like, this was such a stupid fad. Like, we were just so caught up in the moment. And I get it, the boiler rooms and the kind of like party girl energy and like the whole Red Scare reference, whatever. Because of how much of a bad taste in my mouth I'm getting from the brat stuff, I'm going to put Charlie right above Beyonce, a little bit more trans and gay.
Fentanyl and Machine Girl.
They're doing a tour together, I think. They're doing a few stops with each other. Fentanyl gives me the vibes of like Lap Fox tracks. I don't know how many of you guys know that. I'll put some references on the screen. This like furry breakcore type thing. Fentanyl gives me like similar vibes, except not as well developed as Lap Fox tracks was. Machine Girl, they obviously share a fan base. There's like a lot of non-binary energy, trans energy. We'll do this. Yeah, it only feels fair to put that there because, I mean, we can't ignore the fact that there's like a huge non-binary energy with the Fentanyl Machine Girl crowd, and that's it. So Fentanyl Machine Girl, I feel good about where you're placed here. And that's it for the party girls.
I need to get out of this homophobic town. This category is dedicated to all the gays in those lonely Midwest towns with nothing to do but smoke and go on the internet. Mom jeans.
The Best Buds album cover. It's 1 point for them already being pretty gay. Twinkle daddies is a term I've heard being thrown around in scenes like this, so that's another point. Mind you, there was also that controversy when one of the guys was in high school and there was this other girl in high school. He called this one girl a dog-faced whore, which that gives off very like cunty, gay, throwing shade vibes. Mom jeans more gay than not. Still getting cis vibes. More cis than Alex G, maybe by a little bit. And for now, that feels good.
Your arms are my cocoon.
Yes, there are straight people who partake in scrams, but your arms are my cocoon. No, this is a queer scrams thing that straight people just happen to walk into because it was a scram show, right? Right under car seat headrest. Because I'm getting similar vibes. The nerdiness of scrams in general feels very trans-coded. There you go. Your arms are my cocoon.
The front bottoms.
It's harder for me to get a read on their fans. I've met so many different types of front bottoms fans. At the same time, there's also this.
All the time, Matt's like, oh, I got this idea for a picture, like, we could both be naked, like, laying on top of each other. I'm like, all right, that's fine.
I'm getting more straight and cis vibes than I would from Beach House. Less straight and cis vibes than the Smiths.
American football.
American football fans, you could be open to gay activity. Take that as you will. Everybody I know who's loved American football, it's overwhelmingly cis. Do what you will with that knowledge.
Versus self.
Scrams fans, you've looked at something that was like low-key kind of gay. You jerked off to it. That is something that has just been a part of your history. Now, another thing, you probably aren't open consciously to gay activity. Finally have a band that's pushing themselves into the trans and straight quadrant. Straight Scrams fans. A little bit of, I hate to use this word specifically, but kind of like spicy sexual behavior. That's like very millennial, kind of like cringe coded, very cringe. I don't like it. And that's versus self.
Modest Mouse.
Way too mainstream at this point. You got to remember, a lot of their albums were also coming out in the 90s. Their music is more for the kind of guy who's like, yeah, like I live in a shitty Midwestern town. I live in a town that's dead, like a dead factory town, whatever. I'm getting more of like a younger, straight and cis energy, a little bit less than the Smiths. And in fact, that makes me want to move the Smiths over just to make up for where Modest Mouse is. So that, yeah, Modest Mouse, I feel good with you there.
Origami Angel.
Gami Gang, that's gay as hell. I don't know who came up with that, but man, you really just put all of your gay energy into that saying. The fans of Origami Angel and bands that are similar to them exist in this liminal space outside of time where it feels like you could have dropped them somewhere in the 2010s and they would have done just as fine as they are now. Sensitive, but not gay. I kind of want to low-key put them near like the front bottoms if I'm being so real with you guys. We definitely got to push the Smiths down. This feels like a happy place for Origami Angel.
Joyce Manor.
Joyce Manor, I'm going to tell you this. I know we keep going back to the Smiths here. I really don't think I put them far enough into the straight just to make a point. We need you to do this so that we can put Joyce Manor right there. And now with this reorganization, we're dealing a better hand to the Smiths, a more appropriate, and we're giving Joyce Manor the proper treatment near their friends, near Origami Angel, near Front Bottoms, near people that give me this like similar vibe, except for Playboy Cardi. That would be weird. So finally, we've abandoned our homophobic town.
Zoomergays. Zoomergays is a term we at Neopunk created for music that shares similar sound, but more importantly shares a similar Gen Z fan base. Contemporary music with a shoegazy sound, taking inspiration from other genres, and in this case, very gay. Slow dive.
Calling back to sensitive young man vibes. And if I had to veer into gay category at all, I would maybe say like rich bisexual vibes. Not necessarily like Saltburn vibes. It has parents who've gone to the Hamptons, have parents who have taken their kids to Martha's Vineyard or Disney World multiple times during their childhood. Possibly has the money to afford sending their kid to private school to have bisexual experiences. Less cis than Radiohead, still is bisexual. And I know it might sound confusing, but this does kind of fit with the vibe of like the dreamy, kind of in and out, sad music that you get from Slowdive. So to me, that makes perfect sense.
My Bloody Valentine.
When I hear My Bloody Valentine, I really do get this pang of like gayness that hits me. I'm like, oh, My Bloody Valentine. Like, yep, gay.
Gay. Oh my gosh, I opened my mouth and a little purse falls out.
So gay.
I guess the best approximation of how to describe this feeling is like the gay sensation you get on the tip of your during like a really intense acid trip. And you don't think about this memory or the sensation that you felt for like long periods of time, but every once in a while it'll come back to the forefront of your consciousness and you'll be like, oh yeah, that happened. That was definitely, I remember that. I'm not going to forget that anytime soon, but you don't think about it on a day-to-day basis. We also need to mention something very important, which is the fact that there is this autistic element to shoegaze that we did not acknowledge with Slowdive, which is that, yes, there's like this whole pedal thing, sound distortion, trying to match the sound and figure that out, especially back in the day when you didn't have the internet. You had to figure all this stuff out yourself. So, and seeing nowadays that like transness is also associated with like autism a little bit, I almost want to put him at like Nicki Minaj levels. Gayer than Bjork, gayer than Slowdive, gayer than Radiohead. Less gay than Nicki Minaj. Weird blend of trans, cis. I'm feeling this is an accurate representation.
Title fight.
I'm getting a similar vibe that like title fight is just one of those universally loved things. It's not a gay or a straight thing. It's just a title fight thing. If you're a title fight fan, you're a title fight fan. About as cis as Alex G, more cis than The Cure, less cis than American football. And not even to mention the fact that there's this air of like nostalgia, over sentimentality about a band that's, no longer together. So that's all gay.
Julie. In the Zoomergays category, these guys are the strongest twinks in the room, without a doubt. Heavyweight twinks, gayer, more wayfish than title fight, gayer than Megan Thee Stallion, because the gay level that comes from Julie is so much more concentrated. That twink energy is so much more concentrated and more cis than Beyonce. I feel good about that.
Quanic.
With Quanic fans, I get this vision of like a Greg Araki, the Doom generation, Nowhere. If you've seen those films, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I'm talking about this like very stylized, gritty, grungy almost, could only exist in a 90s film kind of gay. Similar gay intensity to Grimes, except a little bit less screamingly gay in your face than Megan Thee Stallion.
Duster.
At first glance, might give you this kind of strange aura, depressive, lost, adolescent, straight guy.
A straight white man.
Who takes shrooms and, unlike the stereotype of learning things about empathy, just doesn't learn anything at all from them. Seen a lot of guys cry at their concert. Duster's home will be right here, nestled between Beach House, the front bottom's 2 Hollis, and Elliott Smith at the bottom.
Deftones.
It's the kind of guy who is straight, he's cis, but he absolutely enjoys watching 2 girls make out at a party. He wouldn't mind his girlfriend having sex with another girl because he thinks it's hot. Definitely less straight than the Smiths or Little Uzi Vert. More straight than Modest Mouse. I feel pretty good about putting you there.
Have a nice life.
I'm getting very nihilistic. I'm getting a dark gay energy because of how much of an online band they are and have been. It's not strong enough to battle the kind of whiny car seat headrest energy we get. It's nowhere near powerful to battle the Bjork energy we get. So I feel like putting Have a Nice Life here makes the most sense.
The Female Manipulator. A heartless bitch, the Female Manipulator is the twisted sister of the male manipulator with all the same traits, and usually has cookie-cutter taste in art. Boy genius.
You are a bisexual woman who just doesn't talk about it. I really think the whole boy genius, like lesbian thing, it's overblown. I think it actually appeals more to a bisexual woman due to the size of how big they've gotten. And also the amount of guys who just I've seen vibe with it. When I went to their concert, it was just the most boring milquetoast. And that says something too, because when I saw them, 100 Gex opened for them. So you'd think that like this kind of zany energy 100 Gex would bring would skew that. No, it really didn't. They just dull, boring vibe, more cis than Radiohead. And I do feel confident in putting them in the category of like largely female fans. Again,
Adrian Lenker.
Adrian Lenker gives me a very mature gay vibe, has come to terms with their sexuality kind of gay vibe, to the point where we've even seen Adrian Lenker share this kind of nonchalant view about how they've come to terms with their own gender, sexuality, etc. The vibes of Adrian Lenker, the town the gay person grew up in and once abandoned. But if you were to capture the sonic feeling of what that town is after the gay person leaves it, that's what it would sound like. This dead factory, small town, very rural almost. The small bits of gay energy that are left in that town after the gay person leaves. The cold, stale, dead air of that town where a gay person once discovered they were gay. It is certainly and strictly not giving crazy back poppers bare on a Wednesday night vibe right underneath Grimes.
Caroline Polachek.
This kind of weird gay that's alien to the kind of gay that we know, and not in a cool way. Saying a lot but saying nothing at the same time. Using all this imagery but ultimately it meaning nothing. Caroline Polachek feels like a gay man's unfinished thought. I think I'm going to have to put you right underneath Beyonce. And to me, this symbolizes like you almost made the cut, but at the end of the day, you just gave me nothing. And because of that, you couldn't even play the game.
Chapel Roan.
It's giving me made in a lab almost. I'm not really feeling hot to go about this altogether. I've heard people who are like millennials or Gen X be like, she's the new Madonna. Such an inaccurate comparison. That makes no sense to me. Yeah, it's attempting to reach something gay. Yet at the same time, it feels too fake. It doesn't feel genuine enough. It doesn't feel real enough. It doesn't feel like it has enough gusto to be up there with Adrian Lenker, Frank Ocean, Charlie XCX. Chapel Roan is like fighting to get there and get the same kind of cred, but just gets pushed to the wayside. In an unfortunate way, but in a way that I feel like is almost deserved. So yeah, that's Chapel Roan.
Lana Del Rey.
Lana Del Rey is truly the Kanye of this case. If we're talking about who has the most influence, the most power right now, is as genuine, is as real, is as raw, you can almost equate gay to Lana Del Rey. When I went to see her live, it was a Gen Z pride parade. I mean, people were going nuts. She's at the top. She is as gay as the time you were in the boys' locker room and you got peed on and you kind of liked it. She is as gay as when the girls decided you were going to be their gay best friend. She is as gay as when your uncle...
Mitski.
Mitski is almost like the Travis Scott. If Lana Del Rey is the Kanye of this case, then Mitski is the Travis Scott. And to symbolize their partnership, I'm going to put Mitski here. Considering like the kind of rabid emotions that come with Mitski fans, like the music, the kind of legacy that Mitski has left behind for us so far, it feels fair.
Fiona Apple.
Not getting a big gay energy. I am getting annoying high IQ girl energy. It feels like Fiona Apple is at the party, but not of the party, if that makes sense. Certainly more cis than Charlie XCX. Certainly as gay, I think. And I'll just end it at that. Before we get on to Amy Winehouse, I'm going to make one small correction. I will be including Mitski in the female fans subcategory.
Amy Winehouse.
I will put Amy Winehouse right next to Mitski. Therefore, kind of concluding the trio of Lana Del Rey, Mitski, Amy Winehouse, gay powerhouse. I don't think you could point to any three artists stronger if we're talking about the legacy they've left behind or will leave behind, or the amount of psychic damage they've caused to gay people, women, straight, anybody really.
The gay girl you knew in high school. This girl remembers when TikTok was still Musical.ly. If you ask them what made them gay, they'd tell you it was Quinn Fabray from Glee. And you'd never find them in class because they'd always be in the school bathrooms hitting their pen. Girl in Red.
Girl in Red is a very regular, stoner vibes, lesbian. Yeah, like, you know, we could take a hit of the bong, like, I'll eat your whatever, yada yada. Watch a movie, kind of cuddle, smoke again later, get some food, get some Uber Eats. If you were to replace her with a guy who looked exactly like her, you'd just be like, yeah, that's like a regular stoner dude, except the fact that, you know, she's like a lesbian and a girl. So gay for sure, just super chill gay. And going with the theme of Montreal, like we're talking about lesbians, and seeing as they are truly more lesbian, more authentically lesbian than the Boy Genius crowd, I feel good with putting Girl in Red here. And I also feel confident giving Girl in Red the female fan subcategory.
Cave Town.
Strong trans vibes. Probably straddling like My Bloody Valentine and Nicki Minaj. Like I feel good with Cave Town there. And to me, there's no doubt in my mind that Cave Town fulfills these strong trans vibes, because who other than a trans person could write something so hilariously anti-Semitic about H3 Productions Ethan than a trans person? Mother to me is like quintessential Spotify or YouTube algorithm made me gay core. So I feel pretty good about putting Mother right underneath Girl in Red. And from my own experience, I'm going to put them into the female fans subcategory.
Lorde.
She's fallen off, and, you know, she just kind of resides as a positive memory for like a lot of these girls and gays. And, that's fine. Not everybody has to keep up with the minutia of what it is to be an artist in contemporary society. It's not for everybody. Some artists are just better left in the past. We can just remember them as a relic of that time period. I think a lot of people are happy with doing that with Pure Heroine, Lorde, you know, that era. And considering how mainstream she is, right under Playboy Cardi.
21 Pilots.
If you were one of these girlies or gays or trans, non-binary, whatever, who were having to 21 Pilots back in the day, and you still are, I'm low-key getting a little stressed out around you, like not trying to make a joke, although that worked out really beautifully. They'll probably get sent to college, get some normal-ass job, and, you know, they'll integrate into society. The other might just end up at Kroger at 35 stocking shelves, and hey, you know, look, there's no shame in that. I mean, very high into gay, and definitely more so than Cave Town. And I'm also going to give this a subcategory of non-binary inclusive. I have met a lot of people nowadays who have decided to come out as non-binary that were 21 Pilots fans or are still 21 Pilots fans, so that feels pretty good to me.
Panic at the Disco.
The big majority of Panic at the Disco fans I've met feels like no matter what, they all have a pretty good head on their shoulders, and they've all like really come into their own and become really mature and interesting people. And surprisingly, that includes the people that even stuck with Brendan Urie through his whole high hopes for a living phase. I want to say a real gay essential. Gayer than Slowdive and Radiohead. Less cis than Radiohead. More cis than Slowdive.
Kesha.
By me talking about Kesha, I'm talking about everything pre, like, her latest album, like, back in that party era. You gotta question how much of this was, like, character vibes, right? As opposed to, like, real, genuine gay shit. The people I've met who with her nowadays, between gay levels of Grimes and Megan Thee Stallion, and more gay than Grimes, and more cis than Grimes.
Melanie Martinez.
You would be surprised how many alt girls you know that were fans of Melanie Martinez growing up. I am picking up on vibes of cis and gay. I need to do some reorientation right here, and I'm going to do something that will make a lot more sense. We are going to move Boy Genius down because of their fake gay status. We are going to put Melanie Martinez up there next to Radiohead because of the crybaby status. And Melanie Martinez, I think you rightfully take your spot on the compass right here.
TikTok Hall of Fame for gays. Artists who have risen to the ranks of TikTok superstardom. Except gay. Aisha Erotica.
Very much the poster child of this kind of trashy, trans, hypersexualized energy. And yeah, it does appeal to a lot of the girlies too, a lot of the girlies who don't even venture that much into gay territory. But the trans aura that comes off of Aisha Erotica is so strong. Aisha, we're going to put you very far into the trans sphere. We're hitting the gay, we're hitting the straight, and we're definitely getting the trans.
TV girl.
I've been to the concert. I can tell you right now, this is literally just a band listened to by girls in high school. TV girl, you're very straight and cis, without a doubt. We're going to give them the subcategory of female fans. And the way they have so many different TikTok sounds, to me, they feel very heavily straight and cis. So yeah, nothing crazy here.
The Living Tombstone.
The Living Tombstone represents the people who became gay after discovering Five Nights at Freddy's. The same kind of people who enjoyed iDubbbz or Too Mad or the like. And every gay person needs somebody, so the Living Tombstone is there for them. Not to mention the fact that even before all the big hits, we had the Brony music, we had so many different eras of the Living Tombstone. More gay than 21 Pilots, more gay than Azalea Banks, and halfway between trans and cis.
Tyler, the Creator.
I feel like you've had a similar gay journey to Chris Tyson. Let me explain why. Obvious past of hetero, edgy boy energy to it. Going from that to fruity. I remember when he was doing stuff with the Goblin, and I see all the gay people's lives he's changed. So, Tyler, I'll say this. The only reason I'm putting you to the right of Julie is because of your past history.
Jack Stauber.
I mentioned with how 21 Pilots, it really stressed me out if you were still a fan after high school. With Jack Stauber, we've moved into the territory of me being very sad for you, knowing that if you were that big of a Jack Stauber fan, you must have run through multiple therapists, definitely are diagnosed with something. You have some sort of awful major trauma within your family. The longer amount of time spent being a Jack Stauber fan, the more concerned I am for you. Super gay, trans energy, without a doubt. And let's say we put them to the right of Cavetown.
Insane Clown Posse.
I see the same level of sexual opportunism as Kesha here. And largely, I'm picking up more of a cis energy. Meth Gooner is the first thing that comes to my mind as opposed to oh yeah, I'm thinking about a gay, ICP fan. No, I'm just thinking about someone that wants to huff paint and a lot.
Billie Eilish.
She has fully turned into a Hey Mama's lesbian. This has happened slowly over time, and it's probably the worst it's ever been now. It's kind of like a lesbian inversion of the Deftones energy. I like watching girls make out. I'm kind of one of the bros, but I'm also an actual lesbian. And by putting Billie Eilish here, we have our equal but opposite reaction to the Deftones fan.
Barely Human and Auditory.
It's funny because you'd think with Barely Human's flamboyant kind of scene queen character, the audiences would bring in a lot more of that energy, but I saw a lot of just normal looking dudes there. I guess this is because they're all the boyfriends of these alt girls. That being said, we're also blending Barely's energy with Auditory's energy. So I'll tell you what, Barely, we're going to do this. Once again, moving Boy Genius down. We will put you right next to Kesha. And if you're watching this, I hope that makes you happy.
The Gay Hot Topic Employee. Literally step into your closest hot topic and you'll find this person. It's almost as if every hot topic is automatically built into the mall with one of these people. Included are some chronically online artists to represent the chronically online gays working there. Slipknot.
Slipknot fans are very easy for me to pinpoint in my head because they're not even especially gay. The ones that are gay, that they've watched too many horror films. We're going to move Mom Jeans down a bit, put them right under ICP. Teetering a little bit more to the right of cis than ICP. And with that, I feel like we have an accurate picture of what Slipknot fans are like.
My Chemical Romance.
If you were asking me this question in the era of 3 Cheers, I would have a very different answer. But seeing as they've become co-opted by the same kind of gay theater kid who was really into Homestuck or Super Hulock, if you remember that, the answer is pretty clear to me. We're going to move the Living Tombstone down, and we're going to put him right under Mitski. When people think about, making fun of the emo kid, the bullied emo kid, right? The one that gets called gay. My Chemical Romance is the universally thought of band. There's really nowhere else they could go on this compass.
Ghost.
These fans are chasers. They might be fat. More cis than Deftones for sure. And we're definitely going to give you your own subcategory.
Burzum.
Okay, so obviously it's giving a pagan thing. It's giving chronically online, racist, trans, chronically online. Trans is Aisha Erotica. And parallel straight energy to Ghost. Putting it down here is just hilarious. It's literally in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, I feel good about Burzum being there.
Falling in Reverse.
I'm getting increasingly gay energy from Ronnie Radke. And to be fair, the one person I knew who was a huge fan ended up coming out as trans. We will put Falling in Reverse right here. E of Reverse, dipping into cis territory. And also while riding the line of straight, we're capturing a little bit of metrosexual. And honestly, I keep thinking about that mugshot from Ronnie Radke. And he sounds like all of those put together. So to me, that makes perfect sense.
Pierce the Veil. I feel like I am getting more cis energy from Pierce the Veil. A lot of cis girls. The amount of straight cis girls that like it. Straight guys that probably liked it, right? It's all like one big gender soup. It feels perfect because we're getting a little bit of everything. And when we're dealing with, these kind of hot topic bands, it only feels fair to refer to the fans as a little bit of everything, I guess, right? Very diverse. Good for them. So with this, I feel like we're getting a happy medium with everything.
Mindless self-indulgence.
Yeah, certainly a chronically online kind of gay, someone who maybe had access to energy drinks, unlimited internet, flash animations at 13, sowing the seeds of gay at a very young age with their fans, I think. And then over time, I can imagine these people becoming very aesthetically tapped in. Almost all of the people I know who still have a relationship to Mindless Self-Indulgence really developed aesthetically, but still kept that kind of zany internet kid, irreverent attitude to them. Between all these bands, 100gex, Machine Girl _, Mindless Self-Indulgence, Cave Town, Jack Stauber, 21 Pilots, these kids probably all grew up in similar neighborhoods of the internet, if not in the same neighborhood, then at least like parallel ones. Very gay and trans and crazy fruity, like raw XD type of energy. This totally makes sense to me. This is exactly where you belong.
LGBT essentials. Classics from 4chan's music board. Shoo Shoo.
I really like this kind of gay. I really do. Depressing, downtrodden, down bad kind of gay. If I was gay, I'd want to be a shoo shoo kind of gay. The vibes I get are like receiving oral in the club. As this is happening, these waves of like everything you've ever done that was awful, they're washing over you. Shoo shoo, we are going to give you your own spot. I like to think about this zone of, the closer we get to the apex of gay and cis, it becoming more and more like uncharted and dangerous and scary. And I think Shoo Shoo kind of fits in perfectly here. So I think this is exactly where they belong.
Weezer.
Anybody who's a Neopunk FM fan is just going to want me to say that they're autistic and gay. But yeah, I'm going to give them a little bit more of the time of day. I could explain more, but I'll just leave it as it is.
Gorillas.
They just became gayer and gayer over time, but I don't think anybody was really surprised because it's a band of cartoon characters. So, I mean, if you didn't see that one coming, I don't know what to tell you.
Crystal Castles.
Getting into the wee hours of the night now, had to bring in the annoying orange character here. Really, the question here is, what kind of gay would you be back in the day when they were popular? Would you have been a metrosexual kind of person? Would you have been this cool kind of pitchfork reading, Fantano watching kind of gay? What I can say is this, look, we've already mapped out where snow strippers are. From that, we can place Crystal Castles as their true, gayer, and more trans kind of friend, I guess. Makes sense. They have that song name. It's like transgender.
Sufjan Stevens.
Again, millennial gay. This is like more twee gay, though. It's gay. If you think of Sufjan Stevens, like the sad gay music, and like really, truly one of the people to do it most prolifically. Just to respect where My Chemical Romance is, we'll move Mitski up, we'll move Amy Winehouse up, move up My Chemical Romance, just so they still take place over Sufjan Stevens.
Death Grips.
Gay, but more within their Zoomer/millennial fan base, or as I like to call a Zillennial. It really seems to be more of a sausage fest than anything. Right underneath the line, basically, you're capturing the trans, you're capturing the gay. Anyways, I mean, this is just getting crazy, so...
Tame Impala.
Where else could I put them? Please tell me.
Ween.
Trans, because we are capturing some of this autistic aura. Straight, because for the trans people that are there, the interests must be overlapping with anybody who's straight. We're like meshing like the autism of like this like transness, the zaniness and kind of weirdness that only like straight white boys could capture. It's a really weird combination, but I mean, it makes sense because Ween is a weird band. With that, we have LGBT essentials.
Honorable mentions. The Garden.
I mean, gosh, they should have been in like the female manipulator category. Very gay. I'll show some examples here.
Play with my balls while you s*** me, and then you gotta get and the gooch.
Look, two brothers making this kind of music. Their fans do makeup to look like clowns, manipulating young, sensitive men. I'm convinced the Garden fans could form like a gay militia.
Ethel Cain.
Maybe a similar level of gay to Adrienne Linker, due to like the level of maturity. She is one to have fans that call her mother and still be crazy. So yeah, Ethel Cain, you're good there.
JPEG Mafia.
Should I go straight all the way and cis all the way? I'm sorry, I know it sucks when the straight cis people come in and ruin the party. This is the fate of JPEG Mafia on the gay compass.
Callous Dow Boys.
This is just me making an assumption. I don't know too much about them. I'd like to become more educated about them. Let's put them over here, just to be safe.
The Dare.
Not that gay. Just here for a good time, guys. Just like a little party boy.
Drain Gang.
We're not talking about one or the other. We're talking about Drain Gang as a whole. Up there, though. And I feel like that's totally fair.
Lady Gaga.
Lana Del Rey, Kanye, Mitski, Travis Scott, Lady Gaga, the Jay-Z of this gay stuff. Clear as day.
Brockhampton.
They had a lot of gay potential. Some of that has been carried on with Kevin Abstract.
but largely lost. You know, they'll just get resignated to this small little area of the chart.
Sophie,
you won. Your trans energy will continue to be felt throughout generations of producers.
Elton John,
I'm going to put here. Whenever I went to the airport and I saw ads for fighting AIDS, he'd be like the one person they decided to use as the cover of their billboard. So Elton John, I think you'd have a good little spot right over here.
secret round.
And now, as a special bonus round, I introduce to you the gays' biggest achievements.
Antonio Vivaldi, Four Seasons.
Surprisingly, the biggest fan I know of this is like super gay. If we're getting into truly esoteric, I mean, this is shit that nobody wants to talk about. Not the most esoteric piece, but certainly has to be further down than Burzum to me.
Victorious Cast.
I knew a straight person that got caught watching them, and his brother was like, "Oh, you gay as hell, huh? You gay?" Right next to Drain Gang feels perfect.
Shane Dawson.
If we're talking about gay and cis, I made a bad misestimation by putting Elton John all the way up there. Truly, it should be taking second to the real king. Let's give him the throne he deserves.
Nikocado, Avocado.
Right under Shane Dawson. Shane was like doing blackface when we were kids. Yeah, I don't think you could really beat that. I mean, if we're talking about crazy gay bullshit.
Tally Hall.
If they find it, they find it.
Dan and Phil.
Dan and Phil to me lives in the world between the Victorious Cast, Tally Hall, My Chemical Romance, and The Garden.
Neopunk FM.
Neopunk FM fans are so unique that I think they deserve their own spot.
I got into the gay community. I liked the attention, but I was not gay, and I still don't consider myself gay, but I had a lot of experience, and